Welcome to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping Orange County. With your host, Don Camber.
Hello, live from the OC Talk Radio studios at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Don Camber with two great guests positively impacting our community. Today I welcome Working Wardrobe's Chief Executive Officer Bonni Pomush and Working Wardrobe's 2023 Impact Honoree UBS Market Executive for the Pacific Desert Market, Justin Frame. Working Wardrobe's mission is to help women, men, young adults, and veterans overcome challenges so they can achieve the dignity of work and the power of a paycheck. Thank you, Bonni and Justin, for being on Impact OC.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here with you, Don. Thank you so much for having us, and especially this time to be with Justin.
Thank you both. I'm excited to be here. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Bonni, please explain some of the challenges your clients face to gain employment and some of the workforce readiness services Working Wardrobes offers.
At Working Wardrobes, we help over 5,000 souls get to be a better version of themselves every year. We do that by helping people overcome all sorts of different barriers to gainful employment. That could be a skill gap. Maybe they need a certification or a training, a soft skill, something transferable between occupations. It could be even a general awareness of, I didn't even know that was a job I could do. So doing some assessments and aptitude, understanding what are the potential places you could be of service in the world. Sometimes the clients we're helping are in a situational crisis. So that could be maybe they were just laid off, maybe they are new to the area and don't have a support system, or whatever circumstance is acute and is new to them is something that we are very apt at helping with. But no matter who the person, there is really two things that are very much in common with all the people that we reach each year. First is we treat everyone with the utmost dignity. Second is that we know that no two people are the same, which means every person has an individualized employment plan. That plan is crafted to identify where are you now, where are you headed, and how can we help you get there. Usually there's some barrier that needs to be overcome, and we address those barriers one by one.
What are some of the barriers?
It could be that skill gap, right? So maybe I want to be a welder, but I don't have the certification, the credential required to be a welder. Maybe it is, I'm interested in becoming a lawyer, but I'd like to first try out being a paralegal, and I need to learn not just the industry, but some specific skills. Sometimes it can be after a gap in employment. So maybe I have been out of the workforce for 20 years and I need to catch up not only on the technological advancements, but learning the soft skills of what it's like to work within a multi-generational workforce.
What are the demographics of the people you serve?
It's half men, half women, and we help, like you mentioned, people who are actively in the military or who have retired from that service. We help seniors, people who are specifically over age 55, have a harder time getting employed, and we're happy to help. We help people who are working age youth. We help just your regular adult. Right. We help people who have been involved or impacted by involvement in the justice system. Really, if you're a human that is looking for help overcoming some barrier on your road to gainful employment, Working Wardrobes is here to help.
And Justin, please explain how individuals and corporations help Working Wardrobes.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate that. Look, there's so much that individuals and companies here in Orange County can do to support all nonprofits across the county, but specifically Working Wardrobes. And I kind of go back to the adage of it's some time, it's talent, and treasure. It's not just the treasure piece. The time is equally valuable. We've got so much expertise here in Orange County that we can leverage. For example, we had a board member, Jim Bourne, at Edward Life Science. He's a Six Sigma black belt who helped our donation center teaching lean manufacturing principles, something that the local team may not have any experience with, but we can bring in some expert in the space to be able to create efficiencies within the donation center. They bring in over $500,000 pieces of clothing they need to process every single year, and so it's important to have those efficiencies. So having someone with talent, and where can we give back some of our skill set is one of the things we find most valuable. In addition to that, obviously time. It's a volunteer-led organization and driven by that, and we We have lots of opportunities for employees and individuals to come volunteer time, whether it's at the donation center, whether it's help coaching clients in those gaps that Bonni spoke about. But having opportunities to volunteer time is going to be incredibly important.
Did you know that last year alone, almost 3,000 individuals donated their time
That's amazing.
to Working Wardrobes? It really is.
That's fantastic. You think about the hours and the manpower that brings to an organization. That's really, really, really valuable. And then, of course, there's treasure, right? And so the opportunity to work with an organization that gives so much back to its clients and the community, it takes dollars to run that kind of an organization. And so the opportunity to donate dollars to Working Wardrobes is, I think, really the last area that we can benefit from. And I think there's also leveraging your company match. Like at UBS, we offer a $2,500 company match to all donations to any nonprofit that's important to our employees. In my team here in the Pacific Desert, we've got 600 employees. It's almost $1.5 million that's available to nonprofits across our marketplace, including Working Wardrobes, that we can go hand in hand with all of our employees to charities and nonprofits that are important to them.
That's a beautiful way, too, of speaking your not only corporate values, but making sure that your employees' voices are heard in the space of the community.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And the attitude of your company to help. Explain that.
Look, at UBS, again, we're a global firm, the largest wealth management firm in the world. But at the end of the day, we're in the people business. And we serve and we operate in the communities where we have an opportunity to work with clients. And so, we find that, that involvement in the community is critical for our success. Our employees that have all different kinds of interests and focuses, we want to make sure that we're accommodating and supporting all of their interests, regardless of what they are.
Bonni, where do people get these services?
We meet people where they are, which means that Working Wardrobes is providing services, of course, remotely and of course in person. Specifically, though, we are on college campuses. We are in jails. We are on military bases. We are where the people need help and eliminating that barrier of transportation by coming to them.
Can you explain some stories of how your clients work with individuals and corporations to boost their career readiness?
Oh, I'd love to. I think that I want to highlight a signature event that Working Wardrobes provides several times a year that really encompasses a great way of sharing that. We will go on a military base and we will bring 100 volunteers with us to serve 100 Marines and sailors in one day. And what that means is that day for a Marine or sailor looks like a full service day where you have a workshop. The workshop is intended to help you translate your military occupational specialty into a civilian resume, to identify what are the occupations that are sort of symbiotic with what the position is I've been holding in the military. We talk about not just what jobs you could target, but also what employers are veteran friendly. And we even couple that with and especially for our sponsors like UBS, come and we have a job fair and resource area where now the Marines are a little bit more equipped to learn how, their skills translate into civilian life. And now they can have a conversation with a national employer about what are those positions and what are the possibilities. We then have a career panel, which is veterans who have already navigated this transition, sharing about not just their experience, but almost imparting the wisdom that they probably wish that they had received or that they learned into this next generation of upcoming military who are transitioning. And then last, at Working Wardrobes, sort of our signature service is these success suits that we take the time with incredible dignity and love to personally style each person into a suit where they are literally interview ready. I like to think about this like a product and its packaging, that we update the inside first. So the operating system of the human gets updated first, and then we make sure that the outside packaging matches. So all these volunteers help us style the Marines. Many times it's the first time they've tied a tie, the first time they've put on a suit, and especially to see themselves in a new light with a new future that is so bright and ahead of them, where maybe a few minutes ago they were quite scared, they can now look in the mirror and see a different version of themselves becoming. So I share that example with you because it's the kind of day where it takes everybody contributing in a unique way. A lot of our corporations use this like they would a CSR day, where they are volunteering as a team together. And that's an incredible experience to, again, walk your values in community. It takes sponsorship dollars to provide all of the resources to bring all of that onto the base. We have in-kind support like semi-trucks. The logistics is a huge piece. Buses can be donated to literally bus our volunteers. There are all sorts of ways to give. And of course, the product itself, the actual clothing donated by individuals and by retailers. We have lunch donated. I mean, like literally there are so many ways that you can be a part of these, we call them Power Up for Success events. And that is an invitation as an individual, as a corporation, of course, as a participant. And it can be that, as you were saying, Justin, that time, that talent, that treasure that you're giving.
But it's so neat to watch these soldiers. They come in fatigues, and you can see their face. They're nervous. They don't know what the future holds for them. At the same time, they're remarkably talented. They've got years of training, but they've been told what to go, where to sleep, what to wear, etc. And they come in with that fear, and throughout that day, you can see this just like blossoming as they have new hope and they have new opportunities. And then to watch them all walk out in a suit is just one of the things that I can tell you, it raises the hair on the back of my neck.
And when all those people these volunteers go to help, they have a lot of skills that they're sharing.
You're absolutely right. I think about just the power of human connection all the time and how these moments unfold. And I think about them like magic, that sometimes people say the thing that's just that little morsel that you needed, whether it's to give you the optimism, or maybe it's that interview hack that you hadn't thought of, or just seeing yourself in a different light, and helping build that confidence and that ability to really not only sell yourself, but to know your value.
And when it comes to looking for work, how difficult is it? Because there's a lot of changes in the process to look for work.
You're right. It's always an evolving marketplace, whether it's you're looking or you're hiring. And I would say this is definitely Working Wardrobe's expertise to help people not only navigate what are the positions you're looking for, but how to successfully apply, how to tailor your resume to different jobs, how to get through the first round of AI and getting past that filter. And of course, how to, really leverage your network and the human connections that can help connect you with the job you want.
Justin, what kind of advice can you give people who are looking for work and are really insecure about the process?
Look, I would say, leverage your network and reach out for help. Organizations like Working Wardrobes are there to provide you all kinds of training that oftentimes we don't even see people looking for, right? So the ability to leverage LinkedIn and learn about how that tool can benefit you, and as far as how to resource from that and really harvest from that. So, at UBS, we bring a lot of those sales training and sales programs that we offer to our advisors and our staffs. We've got the scale to do that. We're able to bring that to Working Wardrobes, for example, and that's something that someone off the street may not have access to.
And when it comes to people off the street, you said you help military, but you help other people. Explain.
Absolutely. We're at probation meetings and making sure that people know that we're a resource to help them get employed as they re-enter the civilian working world. We are literally working with a whole cohort of youth from Santa Ana, and the Department of Education is helping connect those youth with Working Wardrobes to prepare them for the workforce. We work with people who reach out to us and who we reach out to.
Do you help them find jobs? Do you get corporations who are looking for people to go specifically to Working Wardrobes because they want to help people who've been through your program?
Absolutely. In fact, I've had many people share with me their delight when they find out that a person that they're working with is a former Working Wardrobes client. We also have hired several of our own clients, and I think it's the beauty of the corporate and Working Wardrobes like symbiotic relationship. Justin, you really highlighted this well, that you have a resource that we need to get to the clients who need help, right? And that resource can be training and upskilling. It can be something that you take for granted having, we do our annual sales training and we do these things all the time, but that's not necessarily a resource that a nonprofit will have. We are able also to leverage that relationship, not just from the training, but then you can hire the clients that you helped prepare. And in this kind of job market, how great is it to know that you're hiring someone who's well prepared for your work?
Can you talk us through what it's like for someone to walk through your doors for the first time? And I know the building isn't new anymore, but it was building. We have to admit, many years ago there was a fire, and then you rebuilt. So talk about that.
Yes. Preceding the pandemic, about 8 weeks prior to the pandemic, Justin was our board chair at the time, so he can remember this very vividly. But we received the call that nobody would ever want to hear, and that is that Working Wardrobes was on fire. We literally lost everything in that fire, every computer, every pen, every article of clothing, everything. And what is so humbling and inspiring is the community's response to that crisis. I mentioned earlier that some of the clients we help are in an acute crisis, right? The situation has changed, and Working Wardrobes found itself in that situation in February of 2020. When that happened, I think that we experienced the kind of uplift and help overcoming a barrier that we provide. And that is that the community rallied its resources, its time, its talent, and its treasure around rebuilding Working Wardrobes so that Working Wardrobes could rebuild more careers.
And people can help Working Wardrobes by donating clothing at your stores.
We accept clothing donations. Clean and on the hanger, please, unless it's accessories or shoes. And our donation center is located in Irvine, just not too far from the airport. And we are open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We ask that we treat the clothes with the dignity that we treat each other. And that energy transfer is real. It happens when you make the decision that you want your beautiful clothes that you're ready to, give away, that you give them with this energy that they are going to uplift someone. And then they're processed by people who are donating their time in our donation center and helping make sure all the buttons are there and there's no ring around the collar. And there's a lot of love and dignity and intent that goes into that. And then there's a lot of intention that goes behind that personal styling and that energy transfer of, I want you to succeed and this is here to help you. All of that matters. So yes, please know that when you donate your clothes to Working Wardrobes, they are literally life-changing.
And they could donate at the Irvine Center, but you also have a store in Laguna Niguel.
We have 3 retail stores. They're called The Hanger. They are, you're right, one is in Laguna Niguel, one is in Costa Mesa, one is in Garden Grove. The stores are amazing places to find beautiful clothes, whether you're looking for a ball gown for an event. I've had several people tell me that they found the dress they're wearing to their daughter's wedding in our stores. You can find everyday athleisure wear. You can find something really hip and trendy. And I think the thing that you might most be surprised by, well, maybe 2 things. Thing 1, you might be surprised by the excellent quality. Lots of clothes with brand new with tags on or things that have really been gently loved. And 2, you might be surprised by literally the brand name recognition you're going to see. The designer brands are abundant, and it's kind of surprising. You wouldn't expect, I think, that, but feels really good to know that you're really efficiently shopping. You're taking care of the environmental sustainability aspect of, using something more than once. You are obviously supporting a mission that is local and making a big difference, not just in the life of the person who's receiving the services, but the whole network that they are a part of, right? I think about the individual, the family, the neighborhood, the community as a whole is uplifted by each person who is sustainably employed.
I would just add to the efficiency on the donations at Working Wardrobe. So every single article of clothing gets utilized, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it is used by a client who is in need and needs that success suit or the new look to be able to present themselves in their best possible way, whether it's an item that makes its way to the store, or even items that don't cut the mustard, but make it to a ragger that is actually then still recycled. So 100% of every donation is utilized in the most efficient way, and I think that's one of the real testaments to Working Wardrobes is the level of efficiency that they've obtained.
So people could look in their closets, and if there's things they don't want, donate them to Working Wardrobes. But Justin, how can charitable giving be part of an overall financial strategy?
It's actually a huge part of what we talk to clients about. Living out your goals, living out your values, and passing that along to your next generation is something we talk to clients about all of the time. And, as you think about charitable giving, obviously there's a tax benefit to doing that. It's also a mission that you might have in your heart that you want to pass along, whether it's to directly or through the next generation. But we find that the charitable giving piece, there's lots of different strategies that one can utilize. Obviously, just giving directly, you get a tax deduction. Always you maximize that company match if it's out there. But we also find a couple of different vehicles like the Donor Advised Fund. That's a very popular vehicle where someone can donate money to a fund, get a tax deduction today. It continues to grow tax-free, and then you can direct it to the charity and nonprofit of your choice. We also see charitable remainder trusts used a lot, where someone that's got capital they can put into a trust. They receive income from that trust for the rest of their life, and then the remainder of that trust, by namesake, goes to the charity of their choice. Obviously, always speak with your financial advisor and your tax person to get customized advice, but there's a lot of efficient ways that you can give to nonprofits throughout Orange County, specifically Working Wardrobes.
One of the ways that I like to think about this too, Justin, for those of us who don't have as much discretionary dollars to give right now, is to make arrangements to give later. And of course, if you can do both, give now and later, even better. But planned giving is not just a way to defer giving, but really to walk your values, to lead by example, and to not just lead by example within your own family, like letting your children know, in this case, Working Wardrobes is really important to me. I really value that we're helping people get gainfully employed, and I want to make sure that beyond my life that work continues. But I think when people know today, Justin, that I am a Legacy Society member at Working Wardrobes, I will give a part of my estate to Working Wardrobes. Just the fact that that might inspire you to talk about it, to maybe follow in my footsteps.
Absolutely.
How can the public help you aside from donating, aside from giving money and clothing? How else can people help you?
This may not be obvious, but I think the first thing that people can do to help is come in for a tour. On the third Thursday of every month at 4 p.m., I guide a tour, and I think it's a great way for you to think about and see yourself in a different way. Come and see our mission happening and understand and discover what are the ways that resonate most with you and how you want to connect with it. You could also bring a friend or bring a person that you think that person really needs to know about Working Wardrobes too. Bring them with you. And if the third Thursdays don't work for you, let us know. Of course, we'll do a private tour. Another way that you can help is, of course, by volunteering. And we've talked about a few different ways that you can volunteer time. There are remote volunteering opportunities as well as in person. You could volunteer at any of our stores. So we have all these different locations that might be more geographically desirable to you, whether it's Garden Grove, Costa Mesa, Irvine, Laguna Niguel, Santa Ana. You've got options with Working Wardrobes. You mentioned this by donating your clothes, and I just want to add, donate your clothes, your accessories, your shoes, your sunglasses, your attaché cases. This might not be a popular, but if you have that one gold earring or that one silver earring, donate it to us. We will make it go further. This is another one. If you have that car that's really not worth much to you, you could donate it instead of going through the trouble of trying to sell it. And that will be a charitable contribution. All the disclaimers that Justin gave, but you can do that too. And there's information about that on our website. And of course, all these things are on our website, which is workingwardrobes.org. Make sure it's plural, workingwardrobes.org. The last thing I want to mention is if you are in relationship with a clothing retailer or you are a clothing retailer, we would love so much your donated pallets of clothes. If they are overstock or last season, all genders, all sizes, all seasons, we would welcome wholeheartedly your clothing donations.
How do you feel being at the helm of this organization, Bonni?
I feel truly honored and humbled. I think that it is such an honor to be with people in a vulnerable time in their life, and that it's a sacred space to hold with one another. And I think it is such a privilege to contribute in a positive way to the community that I feel so, just grateful to be a part of.
And Justin, you're the 2023 Impact Honoree.
Listen, I'm so grateful for that. I mean, look, it's an honor, and it's easy to give time and treasure and expertise to Working Wardrobes. It really hits a spot in my heart, right? It's an organization that is not just about a hand out, it's about a hand up. And to watch clients go through that and come out the other side in a positive way, empowered with dignity, is something that I'm very, very proud of. And it's been an honor to be on the board and continue to serve with Working Wardrobes.
What do you see as the future of this organization, Bonni?
I'm so excited that we have been building our sort of modernization and our ability to scale. And we've been doing a lot of work it's kind of like when you repair a house and you do the windows and the piping, and it's not stuff that's so sexy, but it creates a longevity. And so I'm really excited about the future for Working Wardrobes in that we have been really investing in our infrastructure and our modernization so that we can serve more people for a longer period of time. Let's look back for a moment before we look forward, because last year was the first year that we exceeded client service numbers prior to the pandemic. So leading up to the pandemic, we had helped about 5,000 people in a year. After, the fire and then the pandemic, we were reaching a little over 2,000 people, 3,000 the next year, 4,000 the year after. But last year, we exceeded all prior years' levels of service.
That's outstanding.
I know, right? We reached over 5,500 souls. And so in 2024, I'm excited. Our goal is to reach 6,000. And when I think about the ripple effect and the idea that each person has its own sort of ecosystem of people that they are then a part of impacting, and that just keeps rippling through the world, I am inspired and blown away by the potential of what we are creating right here in Orange County.
And Justin is smiling exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely. It's that the ripple effect, right? And it's something to think about how one act can cause another act and so on and so forth. And so we see this with clients as they come out the other side. They often will become board members and they'll become contributors and they'll be driving their company's initiatives in the nonprofit space. And so, one act becomes another act. And I think that's the big ask, right? Is take action. Take an opportunity to find out what's important to you. Have a voice with your employer, in the community, and look, Working Wardrobes is an awesome opportunity to touch a lot of lives.
Share with us what some of the statements were made by some of the clients.
One of my favorites is that this is not a perfect direct quote, but essentially that you can get help in a lot of places, but at Working Wardrobes, you get help with love. Mm-hmm. And another client quote that I think about often was, he said something to the effect of, our services were a healing balm to his innermost hurts. And I think that both of those share with you really the love and the dignity, the way with which we treat each other matters. And that, like you said, Justin, that this is an uplift. It's an opportunity to embrace another human on their journey. And it's an equal playing field that is directed in the same place, which is let's overcome whatever barriers are ahead of you and get you gainfully employed.
Thank you, Working Wardrobes Chief Executive Officer Bonni Pomush and Working Wardrobes 2023 Impact Honoree UBS Market Executive for the Pacific Desert Market, Justin Frame, for being on Impact OC. And I thank everyone for tuning in. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Dawn Camber. Have an impactful day.
You've been listening to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping our community. Right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.